Hello everyone, this is Tiggs08, and welcome to Building History, where today we're going to be turning this into this. Now, this is a large-scale project, but if you want a smaller version for your survival world, I'm going to be uploading a companion video where I show you step-by-step how to build a smaller version, so be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss that and other future videos. So today I'm recreating the Ziggurat of Ur. I'm building it to scale, so 64 by 46 meters, and I'm building it how it might have been when it was in use between 2,000 and 4,000 years ago, which is why it's so much more colorful than the pictures of the modern ruins. I found a source that described the base as black, the middle part as red, and the temple on top as blue, which was a temple to the Sumerian moon god Nana. There are some sources in the description of the video if you want to learn more about this ziggurat. So we're starting off doing the base, which is large and a little bit sloped, and working out the staircases, creating the sort of skeleton of the build that we will detail and make pretty later on. So as you can see, I'm using a pattern of 2 slabs then a stair in order to get the slope of the staircases right, because otherwise it would be too steep or too shallow. I needed them to meet in the middle to be able to make this platform. So then I build out these kind of side platforms. And then I started using the fill command because I realized it was faster, but I was still too afraid to try worldedit. Then it was just a matter of repeating that and brute force filling in areas to complete the outline of the base of the ziggurat. Next step is this kind of tower cover thing. So it's turning out alright. For the next part, we're making these grooves in the walls, which can be seen on every layer of the ziggurat, and which I believe were there for some kind of structural support, but I could be wrong. Then along the top, I'm just going to place this railing here, so that if you were on this platform you wouldn't just fall to your death, which can be seen in pictures. And I think it's shaping up nicely. Here I set up the stair railing a little bit, but I quickly move on to the ground below the ziggurat, because the source I was looking at described it as being whitewashed, a large plaza, and well, anyway, just check out the bizarre sound this makes when I fill this whole area with quartz, as I slowly type in all the letters. Of course, I chopped down the lone tree left in this place of ruin. Selfie time to admire our work so far, and then back at it. Of course, not before I dig a mystery hole in a pumpkin patch just to keep you on your toes. Now, where were we? Ah yes, creating the beautiful facade of this building, which will lead into the tier above it. I'm also going to finally cover the roof, creating a place of permanent and unbroken darkness. Back up on the surface, I create a staircase and a little platform, getting ready for the second tier. Then I begin to delineate the boundaries of where that should go on top of this base. And now I'm fighting for my life with the block palette of the second tier, because this is supposed to be the red layer, and so I'm looking for something that's like a reddish brick color, but I don't like the base game bricks that we have available, so I don't know, nether brick, copper, like just anything in the kind of muddy brown, red-ish range. I don't know, like I'm not really happy with any of them, but I think mud bricks are the best we're gonna get for now. Yeah, like coral is terrible and dies immediately anyway, and granite just has the wrong texture for this. So we're just gonna have to kind of move on from that, or wait, hold on. Is blackstone a better block for this? Should I have been using this the whole time? Deep slate tile was the way to go, I think. That would have been too much for the whole thing. And while using the fill command, I did manage to delete the kind of middle section of the build there a little bit, but at least it's an easy fix and not the entire building. Although the fill command has harmed me in the past, I'm going to trust it once again with this task of creating the mud brick tier. I move on to blending the layers together, and then I zoom out so we can look at how this looks like a layer cake. There's now a new layer on the cake. I know, it's a bit of a stretch. So I'm moving on to slapping down some mud brick walls, even though we're going to revisit this later, but just to establish the shape of the thing. It looks pretty good. So now I'm just outlining the temple bit on top to figure out what that's going to look like. Which, as you can see, works well enough. As you can also see, I'm opting to give it like a rounded sort of entrance to the top here. And I will be texturing all of this later. Now working on these little side house things, one of which would house the kitchen and one of which would be where the priests slept. Setting aside the mud brick layer for now, I re-evaluated my block palette and returned to the base of the ziggurat, where I began to refine and add details to the various sections in order to break up the wall of deep slate tile, add visual interest, smooth out the edges. In the interest of keeping things visually unique, I'm switching out the edges of things with polished deep slate, which creates a sort of highlight on the edges and prevents large walls of nothing happening. Then began an extensive struggle against this little roof structure, because I was trying to get the shape right, and, well, as you can see, I had a little bit of a hard time making it work out. Of course, blocks alone are limited in their ability to create a smooth wall, so to make the slope of the base of the ziggurat work, I'm just smoothing it out with additional stairs here. Which, for the record, are the most tedious thing to place in this game, because in creative mode there's like an acceleration to your flight, so yeah, these are just like extremely painful to try and place all of them. If anyone knows how to fix this, please let me know in the comments, or if there is an easier way to do it. Then I'm continuing to smooth and reshape using these walls to once again smooth everything out and get a nicer shape to look at. I return up top for another session of reshaping this thing. Then it's back to outlining and badly placing walls for additional definition. Alright, I replaced the recessed parts with cobbled deep slate, which I think was a good move for the contrast of the build. Just a reminder of how much this sucks to do in real time, compared to how it looks when it's sped up. So essentially I have spent a lot of hours on this project. However, I think it's turning out quite well at this point. I think that all these details to break up the wall of deep slate tile have really added to it. So I'm going to continue working on the walls, carving out details, and completely ignoring the back in the tradition of many great Minecrafters. I'm risking using worldedit for the first time, which I had not done before. And it turns out it's really, really useful. I can't believe I've gone my whole life not using it, because this is just fantastic. Since flipping is a new command for me, I'm going to test it out over here before committing, so that I don't ruin anything on accident. And hey, it works, what do you know? So I've just pasted this onto the other side here. So now we can start to tackle this ugly mud thing. There just aren't any good blocks for the kind of red described in the source. Or at least, that match what I'm picturing. But now that I know how worldedit works, I'm going to try with granite and see if that looks okay. Well, it's redder. I don't know. I'm not sold. What do you think? Ugh, that prismarine is something I'm going to have to deal with too. But that is a later me problem. And this mud-granite combo is just the worst. I'll look one more time. Do you think anyone would notice if I used mangrove wood? Red terracotta is the right color, but it's way too smooth. But maybe from a far enough distance it would look okay, especially if I texture it some. It has the right color vibes. I'll just have to deal with it. There aren't even like walls for this, are there? Or stairs. I feel like that texture just throws into contrast even more the smoothness of the terracotta, but it's fine. Oh yeah, worldedit. This is the most convenient thing ever. I can't believe that I didn't use it for years of playing Minecraft and building in creative mode. Well, that didn't work out now, did it? And perfect. No one saw that. So, I haven't really textured before, so here goes nothing. First of all, putting some bricks down, which doesn't help, of course, because I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just doing it anyway. Something like this? Kinda? I'm not sure. Okay, this is pretty atrocious. I'm gonna try to fix this off camera. And while I work on that, enjoy even more detailing of the deep slate. Okay, while working on that, I've just noticed these holes here, so I'll do a little repair work. I know it's historically accurate, but I don't love these straight lines, so I'm going to use some stairs and slabs to break it up a bit. See, I kinda like this. Also, this quartz is just hurting my eyes. I have to find another block that we could call whitewashed. Diorite? Okay, this is a lot less eye-burning. I'll look for a better block again later. I've got this looking, well, not the best thing ever made, but considering it's my first time trying to texture, I'll call it decent enough. Oh, a little bee friend has come to join us. Hello, friend. Let me try to get a selfie. Okay, sure, selfie. Nailed it. Okay. If you're enjoying the video so far, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so that you can see future Minecraft videos from me. I'm gonna swap this thing out for blackstone so that it pops more. Nice contrast. Maybe some other bits too. It looks weird here, but I'll just finish building this, then replace it with something else. The bricks, maybe, because I do like that it adds some variety to the staircase. Pose for the fans? Yeah, sure, looks alright to me. I'm adding more blackstone here in the form of pillars and curvature, just to break up all of the straight lines in the build. Nice. I felt like the shadows up here were too distracting, so I'll try this shading thing instead. Continuing on with the theme of pillars, you really want to try to avoid dead space whenever possible, so you could see underneath the stairs here, there was just this big flat wall, and so even though it's not historically accurate, I wanted to add some visual interest. I'm also going to finally get around to cleaning this thing up, because now the commands have been tested and I don't need it anymore because I know what I'm doing. Okay, now what's a white block? I don't want to annihilate everyone's eyes. I don't know, calcite? I'm not sold. Okay, stone bricks. Okay, stone bricks it is. No stone. It's not white, but at least my eyes don't hurt now. I'm gonna put some columns here. I know I'm straying far from historical accuracy at this point, but I just can't stand by this negative space. I'm adding a blackstone brick border along the top and bottom just for contrast and to lift the ziggurat off the ground a little bit to add definition there. Gathering materials for the top here. I've settled on a few concrete powders, prismarines, and concrete, plus diamonds, of course. I think it's fitting, actually, that this temple is sky blue and we can use diamonds for it, because it's the most important part of the ziggurat, and in Minecraft, diamond is the most coveted block. I'm really trying to make it colorful because a lot of times people have these preconceived notions, because of movies and things like that, that when we think of the ancient world, we think of it as all brown and gray and just really drab looking. But really, things were colorful back then. The clothes, the art. Some of the most sought-after items were dyes and colored beads and things like that. Pretty stuff. People have always loved color. It's not unique to us modern people. So I want the colors here to reflect that, because this place was supposed to be very grand and dramatic, like their version of a cathedral. Now I've got to go get ready for the gym at 5:30 in the morning because I've made the sort of friends that rope me into that sort of activity. I'll be back momentarily. And we are back from the gym. It's actually 2 days later and I'm still sore. And there actually isn't that much left to do now, so I'll just speed quickly through the rest of it and then give you the tour. So that's pretty much it. I have worked on the back here, and, it's a bit phoned in, but we just won't look at it too closely. If we go around the front here, I've set down some armor stands because back when the ziggurat was actually used, it would have had statues here, and so these armor stands with armor represent the statues that would have been here. up these very long stairs. This lovely little roof thing that I'm sure probably has a name that I don't know. The terraces, of course. And we can walk around the sides here. And down here we've got these little buildings, which at the time, one of them would have been used as a kitchen and the other one would be like where the priests would sleep. I believe it was this one that was the kitchen, but I could be wrong about that. And then up here at the top, most fancy of all, we have the temple itself, which, you know, it would have a priestess who would tend it. I don't know if there's stuff in there. Maybe there was. I don't know. Either way, I'm happy with it. I like this kind of gradient. Oop. It was my first time really working with gradients or like texturing a build in Minecraft. But from far away and this top layer, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not going to complain about that. And the base down here, I think turned out pretty solid. Like, I'm happy with how it looks. It's not entirely historically accurate, but it's pretty, and I think it looks good. So I'm happy with that. Don't forget to subscribe and catch my other videos soon. Oh, I put on netherite pants at some point. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video and comment what you'd like to see next. Since this is my first video, it would actually really help a lot if you engage with it. Thank you for watching so much. This has been Tiggs08. See you next time. Thank you for coming with me on this journey. Don't forget to subscribe and catch my other videos soon, a tutorial for a small ziggurat for your survival world.